Hi everyone, how are you all? I'm delighted to be with you for the Scraptember January Stash Bash event that's been taking place, and there's a different prompt for every day of January, and my prompt for the day is to use a big title. Now I like using big titles mainly because it stops me having to think about how to embellish the page, and I've actually cut my title on using my silhouette, and this is from the Silhouette store, and it says Hello 2020, and I'm actually creating this page to be the introduction page to my 2020 Project Life album. Now as you can see, I've done a little bit of prep work ready for it. I used just a normal piece of craft card, as you can see there, but I've used the Scraptember aged bronze embossing enamel, and I'm going to do this part on screen, and if you can see, it really does give it like a vintage look, and it does make it look enamelled, so it does exactly what it says in the pot. I wanted just to make my title stand off the page a little bit, but for the I suppose like the dance ball in the middle, the glitter ball, I used Glitter Kiss Sahara Gold Kiss, and just to give it that glittery sort of look, I wanted it to stand out a little bit more. And I'm using papers from the January 2020, no it's not, is the December 2019 Hip Kit Club. I've been getting into some bad habits lately and starting to hoard some kits, so I'm trying to make a little bit of a dent in them. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to emboss this next part of my title. So I'm just going to show you how I did it. This is a lovely protector because it just completely wipes clean. So I'm using a clear embossing ink pad, and this is the Wow embossing one because it does take a little bit longer to dry. And I'm just, as you can see, I'm just pressing it all over the part of the title. And then I'm going to stick it in my little tray here. Bring my handy dandy tweezers in. And I'm just going to cover it. As you can see, there are lots of different colours in it. There's copper, but there's bits of black, there's bits of green, to give it that aged look. This is the tricky part now. I'm not a person that can use chopsticks either, just in case you were wondering what my dexterity is like. So here it is. I'm just going to emboss that a second. So I'm back and it's all embossed, and as you can see, it gives a really lovely shiny effect to it, but quite mottled as well in places. I just love that look. So my title's all done. I'm going to use a photo of my husband and I. This wasn't taken on New Year's Eve or anything. This was actually taken on our last holiday, but I just wanted it to be a generic photo because I'm going to be talking about in my album about how this year hopefully is our year. We are in the process of building our own house, and we're hoping it's all going to be done by December 2020. We're hoping to be in there by then. Just going to try and find my trimmer a second. So I just wanted to talk about how this is going to be our year. It's going to be a busy year, hopefully a memorable year for all the right reasons. So I'm using a piece of Pink Fresh Studio paper, and it looks like there's a mixed media effect on it, just to back my photo to make it stand out a bit. And this paper I'm using, covered in stars, is actually Crate Paper Snowflake. There we go. And all I'm going to use on this, because as I said, I want the title to be the main focus, all I'm going to use then are some stars that I've taken out of the kit. They're like a vellum-y sort of star, and a nice little embellishment which says Happy New Year and that sort of thing. In actual fact, my husband and I don't really celebrate New Year's Eve. I don't like New Year's Eve. We do celebrate it in one way, because we usually run a local race, which is called the Nos Galan, and it's actually in the village that I teach in, and there's a free firework display for all the families. It's a fantastic atmosphere, and this year we actually ran it dressed as sumo wrestlers. My friend thought it would be a really good idea if we all dress up as sumo wrestlers. Now my friend from work is about 6'4", and my husband and I are not. So as you can imagine, we look really ridiculous, which is exactly what we wanted, really. So I want this to look like it's sparkling. So I've got some lovely crystals to use on there, but I've also got the Jen Hadfield Gold and a Heidi Swap tea, just to sort of splash around as if it's coming from the words. It's quite unusual with this title, because the hello isn't actually joined to each other, if that makes sense. Usually that would be welded, but it cuts as two separate pieces. I'm just going to pick it up on foam pads. I've had the embossing enamel for quite a few years, because I used them once on a retreat and thought, oh, I need all the colours in this. And I'm sure you do the same, so don't try and be all angelic with me now. But then obviously I put them to one side and barely use them. So because this is scrapping and bashing your stash, that's why I thought I'd get them out. And I'd forgotten how nice they are to use. Sometimes it's easier to heat them from the back, but I only use, as you see, a basic sheet of cardstock, which cut beautifully in my silhouette, and then some embossing powder, embossing pad, and then the lovely enamel embossing powder, which gives a really nice effect. There we go. The problem is it's quite time consuming adding all the foam pads, but as I say, I want it to stand out a little bit. But on this one, I want this stuck down. No, the 2's stuck. Oh, I nearly had the wrong date then. I nearly went back to 2002. I want the 2's stuck down and the 0's then coming off the page. So I'm just going to add some Tombow to my 2's. I nearly said I was going to add some Tombow to my number 2's, which is a completely different message altogether and sounds quite disgusting. So that's why I changed what I was going to say. So I'm just pressing that down. Then, how can I lose my foam pads? They're right in front of me. I'm just going to add a few more to the glitter ball. Feels like I've won Strictly Come Dancing. So I hope you've enjoyed the prompts so far, and you're looking forward to the ones that are coming after it. It's a great way just to get you using some of your own stash. Because as crafters, we are collectors as well, aren't we? Preserver of memories, but collectors of stash. That's the one thing I am dreading about having to move, is having to empty my craft room and my husband realising the true extent of my collection. There we go. Just add a bit of glue to this one, like that. So if you don't usually use big titles, as I say, they are a great way to embellish your page instantly. And there's some fantastic inspiration on Pinterest if you're struggling. If you haven't got a cutting machine, obviously you could make a big title using a quote and making them out of alphas. There we are. Everything's sticking to me at the moment. I love Pinterest. I can lose hours on Pinterest deciding what to do, and then I usually run out of time to do it. So there's my page so far. Now I'm going to just put some sprinkles around it now. Now this one people say is very much like the Heidi Swap one. I've never used the Heidi Swap one, but I find this Jen Hadfield one incredibly watery, but lots of people say is exactly the same, so perhaps that's why they discontinued the other one. There we are. So as you can see, I've got a couple of splodgy bits. I'm just gonna, there we are, just pick this up a minute with a bit of a wet wipe. So this is tea. It doesn't look like any tea that I've ever drunk, but there we go. And I'm just going to splatter that on as well. I thought this one was a bit more like the colour of the enamel. There we go. I haven't added too much because of the fact that the paper is quite thin, because it's just normal scrapbooking paper, and I haven't used gesso or anything on it. I'm just going to, can you see it leaves a little bit of a ring? Looks like a bit of a grease stain. So that's why it's not my favourite thing to use. I'm just going to dab it now off my embossed title. Then I'm going to add the rest of the things on. So I'm just going to add my photo. I'm going to just use double-sided tape for this, and I'm going to tack it just under the glitter ball like that. I'm going to add some of these crystals on as well. These are Satin Crystal by Prima Marketing. Like this. And then I'm going to add this down the bottom for Happy New Year. As I say, this is going to be the title page of my 2020 Project Life album. So it's quite nice to put the year, just in case I forget which year it is. And I'll probably do another page then with my intentions for the year. There we go. And then I'm going to add some of these stars. Now I'm going to add some flat and then raise some up. I could be trying to take a lid off that's not actually on. I'm just going to put it in the centre. Well, I was so busy chatting that I didn't realise that my camera overheated. I needed to have a little sit in the cool. It's getting a bit like me at the moment. I often need a little sit in the cool. So to finish up, all I use with the vellum stars, as you can see, I've raised some up on foam pads, added some with glue. Then I've added the little Happy New Year, and I found these little champagne glasses saying cheers, which is quite ironic really, because I don't actually drink. I go out to if I ever go to a pub, I always end up having a pint of squash. That's the sort of girl I am. And I put our year. Let's fingers crossed that 2020 is our year. So there we go. There's my attempt at using a big title. I hope I've inspired you to give it a go. As I say, if you can't cut them yourself because you haven't got your own machine, there are places that sell them ready-made. Pretty My Page will also sells lots of pre-cut cut files, but also you could do this using alphas. You could cut out your own letters. There's lots of ways to do it. But as you can see, once you've got a big title on the page, is the main embellishment then. So I hope you enjoy the rest of Scraptember, the January Stash Bash. Needed my false teeth in for that. And as I say, carry on each day looking at the inspiration, and you should be getting lots of scrapping done. So thank you so much for joining me. So this is Nikki of Nikki Knacks Paper Crafts, and I bid you farewell. Hwyl fawr, I'll see you soon. Bye.